It's 11:47 on a Tuesday night, and your laptop is still open. Not because you're behind, because one tiny question from 3 hours ago refused to leave quietly. The room is dark, except for the blue-white glow on your face. Your coffee has gone cold beside your elbow, and somewhere in your head, a voice keeps saying, "Wait, but why does that work like that?" Someone else would have closed the tab. You opened 12 more. You're not obsessive. You're following the thread farther than most people are willing to walk. Here's what nobody tells you about extremely high IQ. It doesn't always feel like being smart. Sometimes it feels like having a mind that refuses to stop connecting things in a world that rewards people for moving on. Psychologists call part of this fluid reasoning, working memory, processing speed, pattern recognition. But that's the clean version. The lived version is stranger. You notice the contradiction in someone's story before they finish the sentence. Translation: your brain isn't trying to be difficult. It's built to keep testing the map. Here's where it gets interesting. Intelligence researchers Richard Heyer and Rex Jung proposed the parieto-frontal integration theory, which suggests that intelligent thinking depends on networks linking frontal and parietal regions of the brain. That's a fancy way of saying your mind isn't just storing more facts, it's coordinating information quickly across mental neighborhoods. So when someone says, "just keep it simple," and your brain immediately sees 6 exceptions, 2 hidden assumptions, and a consequence nobody mentioned, you're not showing off. You're processing the building before everyone else has found the front door. This is why simple conversations can feel oddly tiring. Not because you're above people, because your mind keeps rendering the whole room, while everyone else is reading the label on the box. And honestly, that can make you feel lonely in a very specific way. Not lonely like nobody likes you, lonely like you're laughing 3 seconds too early because you saw the joke coming. Lonely like you're in a group project on Thursday afternoon, fluorescent lights buzzing overhead, and someone says, "We'll just figure it out later," while your stomach quietly drops, because you've already figured out how later becomes a mess. Researchers Neubauer and Fink reviewed what's called the neural efficiency hypothesis. In many tasks, brighter individuals can show more efficient brain activation. Translation: when something is easy, your brain may not need to rev the engine. It just moves. You finish the worksheet early, skip 3 steps in your explanation, and someone says, "Slow down." So you explain the middle. Then the middle of the middle. Then you start wondering if communication is just the tax you pay for thinking quickly. You're not impatient. You're translating a movie into still photos. But here's the kicker. High intelligence doesn't mean everything feels easy. It often means easy things feel painfully understimulating, while hard things feel like relief. Cacioppo and Petty called this need for cognition, the tendency to enjoy effortful thinking. Some people relax by turning their brain off. You relax when your brain finally has something worthy to chew on. Think about that one night at 1:12 a.m., when you were supposed to be sleeping, but instead you were reading about black holes, ancient trade routes, or why elevators feel slower when there's no mirror inside. You weren't being random. Your brain was looking for texture. Wild, right? Then there's the emotional side nobody wants to attach to IQ. Many highly intelligent people don't feel less, they notice more. Dabrowski's theory of overexcitabilities is often discussed in giftedness research, especially intellectual overexcitability, the mind's intense drive to question, analyze, and seek truth. The field is complicated, and not every gifted person fits the same profile. Translation: your mind may not just think louder. It may experience meaning louder. That's why one casual sentence can stay with you for days. It's Saturday morning, you're rinsing a mug at the sink, and suddenly you remember how someone said, "Yeah, you're a lot sometimes," with that half smile. The water is warm over your hands, the kitchen smells like toast, and your brain is already holding court. What did they mean? Were they joking? Were they relieved to say it? Were they right? The study of mathematically precocious youth, led for decades by researchers like David Lubinsky and Camilla Benbow, followed highly able young people over long periods. High ability doesn't erase individuality. Gifted people still differ in interests, motivation, personality, values, and environments. A huge IQ doesn't hand someone a complete life. It hands them unusual mental equipment, then asks them to grow up in ordinary rooms. Think about the last time you were in a meeting at 10:03 a.m., staring at a shared screen while someone explains the obvious. Your face stayed polite, your mouth made the correct little sound, but inside, your thoughts were already 3 floors ahead, rearranging the plan, spotting the weak beam, wondering whether saying anything would make you helpful or annoying. This is why you edit yourself. You wait half a second before answering. You soften the sentence. You add, maybe I'm overthinking it, even when you know you're not. You're not arrogant. You're socially budgeting your intelligence so other people don't feel interrupted by it. Yeah, that. Someone says, I'm fine at 8:36 p.m. while gripping their phone too tightly, and you notice the pause before fine, the tiny shift in their shoulders, the way they suddenly care too much about the kitchen counter. Do you ask? Do you wait? Do you pretend not to see it? You're not dramatic. You're picking up the footnotes in people's behavior. But there is a shadow here. A fast mind can become a crowded mind. When you can predict problems early, you may start living in prevention mode. When you've been praised for being the smart one, you may feel embarrassed by anything you can't master quickly. And when most conversations feel too thin, it's easy to confuse boredom with superiority. Here's the thing. Intelligence is a tool, not a personality. Every average day feels like evidence against you. Every confused moment feels illegal. It isn't. Maybe your mind is less like a trophy and more like an old house with extra staircases. Most people walk through the front room and say, nice place. But you know there are hidden doors behind the bookcase, a narrow attic with dust in the beams, a cellar, and one strange little window that catches sunrise before the rest of the house wakes up. That doesn't make the house better than other houses. It makes it harder to give a quick tour. You're not too much. You're high resolution in a low resolution conversation. You're not cold, you're concentrated. You're not broken because ordinary life sometimes feels underwritten. You're built with extra rooms, and you're still learning which people deserve the full tour. So tell me this in the comments. What's the one thing people always misunderstand about the way your mind works? If this hit home for you, please subscribe. And if you want to support these deep dives, hit that join button to become a channel member. I would genuinely appreciate your support.